Hi guys, this video is about my latest Fallout New Vegas mod called oHUD. Now oHUD is basically a combination of my immersive HUD, adjustable HUD and primary needs HUD mods. I've combined them all into one easy to install mod. Now before I tell you how to install oHUD, I'm going to just mention the Nexus Mod Manager. You will notice I have it installed, and if you saw my Skyrim video and have installed Nexus Mod Manager, you will remember I said you must uninstall Fallout Mod Manager first, and here you are looking at me and I've not done that. Now there is a reason for that. Fallout Mod Manager still has a couple of tools that I need as a mod author. Well, I don't need, but they're really useful. One of the tools for me is inside the package manager. I can edit the scripts for my FOMod installations. So for example, in the Unified HUD, I have the edit script which allows me to do all the programming for the installation from here. It's far easier for me to test. The second thing that I really would miss if I didn't have is the Bsa Browser. That is for extracting resources, and currently the Nexus Mod Manager does not have that tool either. I'm sure it's going to get it, so I'm sure eventually I will get rid of Fallout Mod Manager. So as it is, I've left Fallout Mod Manager installed. Now I do not recommend doing this, and the simple reason is it's very easy to get these two messing each other up. Basically, when I run Nexus Mod Manager, if I clicked OK now with it selected on Fallout New Vegas, it would alter some files that Fallout Mod Manager needs, and then Fallout Mod Manager would crash every time I booted it. So I only actually use the Nexus Mod Manager for Skyrim at the moment. But if I accidentally clicked on this, it would mess up one of the files and it would cause Fallout Mod Manager to stop working. Now I know how to fix that, and if any of you do that by mistake, send me a message and I will describe to you how you can fix it. But generally speaking, I'm recommending, if you are not a mod author, do not do what I am doing. If you are using Fallout Mod Manager, just use Fallout Mod Manager. If you are playing Skyrim and you need the Nexus Mod Manager, just use the Nexus Mod Manager and uninstall Fallout Mod Manager. Now, if you are using the Nexus Mod Manager instead of the Fallout Mod Manager, and it's perfectly fine to do that, as a mod user, there is absolutely no reason not to, then you'll just have to remember, whenever I talk about opening the package manager, you're opening Nexus Mod Manager's mods tab, and whenever I click the activate button here, you have to click the blue jigsaw activate button. So it's not that different. I'm hoping you guys can figure that one out. But whichever mod manager you are using, to install this mod, the first thing you're going to need to do is uninstall the old ones if you're using them. So if you are using them, deactivate, first of all, Unified HUD project. Always best to deactivate that first. Then let's find the rest. Primary Needs HUD, deactivate it. And delete. No need to keep it. Immersive HUD, deactivate. And delete. And finally, adjustable HUD, deactivate and delete. Then download the oHUD file, turn it into a FOMod. You guys should know how to do that by now, and activate. It's detected the Downified UI. Install. Click yes to all, obviously, as usual, and it's installed. Remember to reactivate to hit the activate button on the Unified HUD project. Just fix everything. Yes to all again. And that's it. It's installed. It's only a single ESM file, the oHUD ESM, and you don't need to worry about it, where it comes in the load order. And that's it. It's installed. There is one other thing you should be aware of. If you are using my visual enhancement mods, things like Cinematech and the Director's Chair, if you are using the Director's Chair mod, this requires immersive HUD, and so obviously if you don't fix that, you will crash. You will crash when you start the game. So be sure to download the latest version of the Director's Chair. There's a new version of the Director's Chair specifically designed to work with oHUD instead of iHUD. Just remember that. Okay, so here we are in game, and as you can see, the heads-up display is gone, as you would expect. If you've used these mods before, there's a few things you still need to know. The first thing is, if you go to the MCM menu and open up the adjustable HUD and the HUD elements don't appear, it probably means the MCM menu has been there's been a problem. The fix for that is to exit the game, deactivate Unified HUD and activate Unified HUD. See, this only usually happens if you've installed something after Unified HUD. So that's just a quick note for that. The other thing to notice is that the extra HUD that used to be called the primary needs HUD, that's just changed, because obviously it does far more than primary needs now. And the last thing, of course, you need to know is all your settings have gone. It's a new mod, even though you had iHUD, aHUD and primary needs installed, all your settings have gone, and I'm afraid you're going to have to change them, so I am sorry about that. Now, if you are new to this mod, I will explain a little bit about how to use it. For the rest of you, there's probably no point watching the rest of this video. It's going to cover things you already know. So anyway, here we go. For those of you new to the mod, as you can see, the heads-up display is completely empty. Nothing. But every now and again, you'll notice when I go past an object, let me sprint forward. As I've sprinted, did you notice my action points suddenly become visible? As I go to this box, my crosshair became visible, as did the target info. Now watch the target info, it disappears, as does the action points. If I pull my weapon, I've got the weapon condition and ammo plus the dynamic crosshair from Project Nevada. I put the weapon away, after a second or so, they disappear. And so on. Now, you can also press the I key, and it toggles the heads-up display on, and then the heads-up display by default will never turn off. It will never turn off until once again you press the I key, and then it disappears. Now, it's completely customizable if you go to the MCM menu. Under the general, you can even change the key, so I'm going to change this to my mouse button 3. You can change just about everything. You can actually make it so that when you toggle, it actually fades after a few seconds. The default fade for most elements is about 6 seconds. Now, you can also set the fade away, for example, on the target info, you can set it a little less. And so now if I look at the box, in 3 seconds, it disappears. So that's a little faster. Other settings, screenshot mode. Now, screenshot mode is a very useful little feature if you like to take screenshots, obviously. It disables the automatic activation of the HUD. So for example, if I pull the weapon now, no crosshair. If I sprint, no action points, and so on. Some things will appear on the heads-up display like quest messages, but very little, and it's perfect for if you want to take screenshots without the heads-up display in the way. Screenshot mode also integrates well with the Director's Chair, as I mentioned in the installation. The Director's Chair is a mod that allows you to control things in such a way that, for example, the dynamic depth of field and the film grain come on in screenshot mode. So as you can see here, as I get close to this post, I get dynamic depth of field, and I look away, it shifts focus, and there's a slight film grain which gives the game a slightly cinematic feel. that I've got set to only occur in screenshot mode. So if I turn screenshot mode off now, I get the heads-up display back and no more dynamic depth of field. Now, it is actually possible to have the screenshot mode come on automatically, and it comes on after you press the I key for a certain amount of time. Now you can change how long it needs, so for example up to 3 seconds, but I'm going to set it for 1.2 seconds. And basically what that means now is I come out, and if I press the I key for about a second, just over, it disappears, and I'm now in screenshot mode. I press the key again, I'm out of screenshot mode. Pretty simple. And it's really good for if you're going to do your screenshots and you suddenly realise, oh no, I don't want the crosshair, so into screenshot mode I go. Back out. Simple as that. Other things you can change with this mod include, in the adjustable HUD, you can, for example, turn off the radiation meter. You can move things, so for example I'm going to move the compass using the arrow keys on the number pad, and I can move it to wherever I like. And once I get it wherever I like, I press any key except the 5 key. If I press, say, the enter key, it goes back to the menu. Now if I move something, let's say I'm going to move the hit points, and I move them and I suddenly realise I don't want to move them there, if I press the 5 key on the numpad, it goes back to the default. Simple as that. I can also remove the bracket to the compass. As you can see, I can remove the bracket for the radiation meter and weapon condition. And all of these things can be moved. I can also force the head-up display visibility whilst in MCM, and that's useful later on, so I'm going to activate that now. If I go to extra HUD, this adds lots of extra things. So for example, if I go to the show and move, you'll see all of these options. I'm going to put the clock on. I get a clock. Combat stats, that includes critical chance and DT. Please note though, the DT is only the DT from your armor. It doesn't calculate any perks, etc. It's just your armor. It's a way of looking at your armor's condition. Resists, encumbrance, radiation, and hardcore needs. There's also fatigue, but that's not that useful unless you're using a mod that requires fatigue, like Arwen's realism tweaks. In the general settings, you can change the clock to 24-hour, you can turn on and off the color coding, and you can even have the primary needs show as percentages or meters. And these bars here, which are all vertical, you can even change them to horizontal. Each one of them is movable, so if you want to move the combat stats, very similar to the adjustable HUD, you can move it. Exactly the same technique. It's as simple as that. Now, the iHUD also can control these extra HUD values, so hardcore needs. For example, perhaps I want the clock to always be on. I click that, then when I go back, you'll notice now iHUD hides everything except the clock. The clock stays there permanently. However, if I go into screenshot mode, it turns it off. Out of screenshot mode, it's back. So even though it says always on, you can even override that. Other mods can also be hidden. Most of the ones listed on the web page, they're all hidden, but some of them actually allow you a little bit more control. So for example, the Project Nevada grenade hotkey, or the dynamic crosshair, and the advanced recon armor. The advanced recon armor is it's the thermal night vision mod. So if I decide to put on the thermal night vision, as you can see, it's draining power. That's bottom right hand corner, it's draining power. Now if I hide the HUD, I've set it so that when I pull my weapon out, I can see power drain. If I change to night vision, as you can see, you can now see the night vision. And that's all controllable from this So let's say I want not when the weapon's out, but always on, or in combat. Now, if I put the weapon away, but put my night vision on, as you can see. So it's all completely controllable, and that's the basic idea of one HUD, is to give you complete control over the heads-up display. And that's it. That's about it. So, I hope you enjoy this mod, I hope you find it useful, and if you start taking loads of great screenshots with no HUD, be sure to post some of them on the Nexus website and even on the One HUD page. I like to see your work as well. Now, I'm playing a lot of Skyrim at the moment, and I'm making videos for that as well, but don't worry, I am continuing on with the Fallout New Vegas mod clinic. I'm aiming to get at least one a week out still, so I have not stopped with that series, not by a long shot. I've still got loads of great mods I want to show you, and I'm hoping to have one out in the next 3 or 4 days. Okay, have fun.